My beloved child, listen closely, for I am speaking to you in this very moment with an urgency that cannot be postponed. I will not wait another second, because what I am about to say carries the weight of your healing, your clarity, your release, and your restoration. This is for you. Not for someone stronger, not for someone more prepared, not for someone who seems more deserving. This message has been crafted in the depths of eternity with your name woven into every word. I have watched you reach a point where silence would no longer serve you, where delay would no longer protect you. And so, I have stepped forward now. You have been wandering with questions in your heart that no one around you could hear. You have carried battles that stayed hidden beneath the surface of your smile. You have whispered prayers into the night, wondering if they would ever be answered, wondering if I still saw you, if I still remembered you. And today I come to tell you, I have seen every step, every tear, every moment you felt unseen. I refuse to remain silent one moment longer. That is why I speak to you now. My precious one, there is something stirring in your spirit, something you may not have words for yet. You sense change. You sense movement. You sense that something is shifting around you even though nothing on the outside has changed. That feeling is not your imagination. It is my hand beginning to move on your behalf. It is the opening of a chapter that can no longer be delayed. It is the unfolding of a promise that has been waiting for the right moment to bloom. And that moment is now. Stay with me here, for the message you are about to receive is not simply another set of comforting words. It is a divine appointment, written for a precise moment in your life. Everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, everything you have carried silently has brought you to this point. You are standing at the threshold of revelation, and walking away too soon would cause you to miss the very breakthrough you have prayed for. I will not soften this truth. You have reached a turning point. Not because you forced it. Not because you finally became perfect. Not because life suddenly aligned. But because I have chosen to intervene. I have chosen to accelerate what has been delayed. I have chosen to tear down what has resisted you. I have chosen to speak into your spirit words that cannot wait for another day. You feel the urgency because it is real. You sense the pull because it is intentional. Something within you knows that this message is not random, not coincidental, not accidental. It is timed. It is written. It is tailored. And your heart recognizes the sound of my voice, even if your mind is still catching up. My beloved, I want you to understand something before we go any further. You have cried out for a sign. You have asked for clarity. You have begged for direction. This very moment is that sign, a clarity, a direction. I am drawing you in because what I reveal in the moments to come will begin to untangle the confusion you have lived with for far too long. It will breathe peace into the corners of your heart that have remained clenched in fear. It will show you why certain doors closed, why certain people left, why certain seasons felt endless. But you must stay. Do not turn away. Do not allow distraction to steal what I am placing before you. You have carried uncertainty long enough. You have walked through darkness long enough. You have questioned your purpose long enough. I am not speaking to entertain you. I am speaking to awaken you, to strengthen you, to lift you, to prepare you for what is unfolding even now. Every word that follows in this message is designed to break something open within you, to loosen burdens you weren't meant to carry, to bring you into alignment with the life I have prepared for you. What comes next is not simply encouragement. It is revelation. It is guidance. It is healing. It is the turning of a key in a lock that has kept you restrained for years. And so I say again, With all the love of a father who has waited for the perfect moment to speak, I will not wait another second. This is for you. And if you remain with me until the final word, you will feel the shift within your spirit that you have longed for but could never quite reach. Today, listen, breathe, let your heart open. What I am about to reveal will begin the transformation you have been seeking. My beloved child, come closer now, for I am continuing the message your spirit has been aching to hear. You have waited long enough. These words are not a rebuke, but a release. They are not a reminder of how long you have stood still, but a declaration that the season of standing still is ending. You have carried the weight of waiting for so long that it began to feel like part of your identity, part of the rhythm of your life. Yet I tell you now with tenderness and authority that wait is coming to an end. For years, you have wondered why the things you prayed for seemed to move toward everyone else except you. You watched others step into opportunities that looked like they were meant for your hands. You saw doors open for people who did not pray as you prayed, who did not sacrifice as you sacrificed, who did not endure what you endured. You questioned if I had overlooked you, if I had passed you by, if perhaps I had concluded that you were not ready or not worthy. But precious one, hear me clearly. I have never overlooked you, and I have never denied you what was meant to be yours. What you interpreted as abandonment was in truth protection. What you thought was denial was timing. What you perceived as silence was me working beneath the surface of your life, preparing a blessing that would not crumble the moment you touched it. You were not waiting because you lacked worth. You were waiting because the promise I formed for you required foundations deeper than what you could see. But now the season has shifted. I speak to you not from a distance, but near, nearer than your next breath. You have waited through nights of fear, through days of confusion, through moments when your heart was too tired to hope but somehow kept hoping anyway. And that perseverance has reached me. Your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Each time you chose not to give up, you planted a seed in the unseen. And today some of those seeds have reached maturity. You may not fully understand how close you are to the moment you have longed for. You may look at your circumstances and think nothing is changing. But my child, you are standing on ground that is already shifting. The things you have prayed for are not delayed anymore. They are in motion, moving toward you even as these words are being spoken. Your season of waiting is giving way to your season of receiving. There were times when the waiting felt cruel. Times when you questioned your own worth because nothing around you validated your effort. Times when you asked yourself if you were simply meant to live a smaller life, a quieter life, a life without the fulfillment you secretly dreamed of. You hid those dreams because you were afraid of disappointment, afraid that reaching again would hurt more than staying still. But I saw those dreams, even the ones you buried deepest. I held them until you were strong enough to hold them again. Now lift your eyes. The heaviness you feel is not a sign of defeat. It is the weight of transition. The pressure surrounding you is not a warning of collapse. It is the final tightening before release. Just as the sky darkens before the dawn, your spirit has felt the heaviness that comes just before breakthrough. Do not misinterpret this moment. You are not being crushed. You are being positioned. Beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend to be strong. I am not asking you to manufacture hope. I am simply asking you to stay with me, to continue listening, to continue receiving the words that are shaping the path in front of you. What I will reveal in the moments ahead will tie together the threads of your story, the unanswered questions, the silent nights, the disappointments, the delays that felt endless. Everything is converging into understanding, into purpose, into direction. I want you to know that nothing you have lost has slipped from my hands. Nothing you have suffered has been ignored. Nothing you have fought through has been wasted. The waiting season carved depth in you. It refined your character. It taught you to hear me in the quiet and to trust me in the delays. That trust, though tested, has drawn me close to you in ways you do not yet comprehend. And now I say again, you have waited long enough. In what follows, I will show you what hath been forming behind the scenes. I will reveal why certain things had to be delayed and why other things will accelerate swiftly. Do not step away now. Do not let your mind wander. Stay with me, for the revelation unfolding next will begin to make sense of what once felt senseless. You are closer than you think, and the unfolding has already begun. My beloved child, lean into my voice now, for what I am about to reveal requires your full attention. You have stepped into a moment that is not ordinary. This is not simply another message or another set of comforting words. This is a divine interruption, a heavenly acceleration, a shift that has already begun to move toward you. I want you to feel the urgency in my words, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Something in your life is changing faster than you realize, and I do not want you to miss what I am placing before you. You have wondered why, after such a long season of quietness, things suddenly feel unsettled. Why your heart feels like it is stirring, why your spirit feels restless, why you sense movement but cannot yet see where it is leading. My beloved, it is because I am accelerating things on your behalf. You are entering a season where what once took years will take moments, where what once felt blocked will open effortlessly, where what once felt heavy will lift as though it were never there. You are stepping into a divine quickening, and I need you to stay with me so you can understand what is unfolding. You have asked me for clarity. You have cried out for direction. You have begged for a sign that your life was not destined to remain stagnant. And so I tell you now with absolute certainty, this acceleration is your sign. I am not moving randomly. I am moving intentionally. You have reached a point where delay would harm you more than help you. I waited until your heart was ready, until your spirit was strong enough, until your wounds had begun to heal, and now I say to you, I will not wait another second. The shift is happening now. But listen carefully. Acceleration can feel confusing when you first step into it. It may feel like familiar routines no longer fit, like old desires no longer satisfy, like certain people no longer align with where you are going. Do not resist this feeling. Do not fear this stirring. When I accelerate your life, everything that is not meant to move forward with you will begin to fall away. This is not loss. It is alignment. It is me clearing the path so you can walk unhindered into the life prepared for you. My beloved child, remain here with me, for what comes next is not something you can afford to miss. Every word ahead is meant to guide you through the shift that is unfolding. I want you to understand the signs. I want you to recognize the doors I am opening. I want you to be able to step into what is coming with confidence instead of hesitation. If you turn away too soon, you may misinterpret what is happening around you. You may mistake movement for chaos, release for rejection, acceleration for instability. Stay with me, for the clarity you need is within the words I will speak in the moments ahead. You have already felt the beginning of this acceleration. There have been thoughts rising within you that feel new, ideas that feel divinely inspired, strength you did not expect to feel again. There have been moments recently where hope rose inside you without warning, and you questioned where it came from. It came from me. It came from the future I am guiding you into. It came from the life you are beginning to walk toward. You are stepping out of the long, weary season of waiting and into a divine forward motion that cannot be stopped or slowed by anything that once held you back. My precious one, stay close. Stay listening. Stay open. Do not walk away now, for I am about to reveal truths that will shift the way you see your past and illuminate the path before you. You are closer than ever to what you have prayed for, and the enemy of your soul would love nothing more than for distraction to pull you away from this moment. But I have guided you here for a purpose. You are hearing this now because your breakthrough is not somewhere far in the distance. It is forming right now. Hear me gently. If this message has stirred something in you, if it has brought even a small measure of peace or clarity to your spirit, then bless this message with a like so it can reach more hearts that are waiting for their own acceleration. And if there are souls around you who need encouragement, share this message with them, for the same shift I am bringing into your life can awaken theirs. And remain connected by subscribing, for I will continue to speak to you, to guide you, to walk with you through every unfolding step. Do not move away from this moment. You are on the verge of understanding something that will change the way you see everything. Stay with me, beloved. What I reveal next is the key you have been praying for. My beloved child, come gently into this moment with me, for what I am about to speak is tender, sacred, and deeply connected to the places within you that you rarely allow anyone to see. You have walked through valleys that no one else ever knew you entered. You have fought silent battles that no one else recognized. You have held back tears in rooms where you felt you had to be strong, and you wiped them away quietly in the dark where no one could witness your breaking. But I was there. I saw every tear you never spoke of. Not one of them escaped my notice. You have believed it, at times, that your quiet pain was invisible. You thought your resilience was unnoticed, your courage unacknowledged, your survival taken for granted. Those moments when you cried and felt no comfort from the world, you assumed you were alone. Yet, my child, you were never alone. When your chest tightened from unspoken sorrow, I was the breath that kept you steady. When your knees trembled under stress heavy enough to bend your spirit, I was the strength that held you upright. When you whispered unheard prayers into the night, I was the one who listened even when the room stayed silent. There are tears you cried that you tried to hide even from yourself. Times when your heart cracked quietly, in moments too fragile for words. I saw those tears too. I saw the ones you shed over disappointments you never admitted. I saw the ones that fell because of love lost, trust broken, opportunities missed. I saw the tears that spilled from old wounds you thought had already healed. I saw the ones you cried out of exhaustion, when you were too tired to hope but too determined to stop trying. I saw every single one, and not one of those tears was wasted. Every tear became a seed in the soil of your spirit. Every tear watered strength you did not yet recognize. Every tear softened the ground of your heart so that healing could take root. You thought those tears were signs of weakness, signs of failure, signs that you were not strong enough to keep going. But I tell you now, precious one, your tears were proof of your courage, proof of your endurance, proof of your depth and compassion, proof that your heart, even when wounded, refused to turn cold. You must understand that I do not look upon your tears with disappointment. I look upon them with understanding. I look upon them with compassion. I look upon them with the tenderness of a father who knows how deeply his child feels, how earnestly his child loves, how bravely his child tries. You have been harder on yourself than I have ever been. You have judged your tears as weakness, while I have held them as evidence of your resilience. There were moments when your tears fell because you felt unseen, unheard, unvalued. Moments when you wondered if anyone could understand the weight you carried. And in those moments, when loneliness wrapped itself around your heart, I drew near. I leaned close. I gathered your tears as they fell and kept them, not as reminders of your suffering, but as reminders of your perseverance. My beloved, the world may not know what it took for you to stand up each morning. They may not know what it cost you to keep believing, to keep trying, to keep showing kindness when you were hurting. But I know. I saw the strength it took to forgive. I saw the courage it took to hope again. I saw the endurance it took to keep walking when the road felt endless. You thought your tears went unnoticed, but they reached me every time. And now, as I move in your life, I do so with full knowledge of every tear you have shed. I move with an understanding of the battles you have fought in silence. I move with the awareness of how long you have carried burdens you never voiced aloud. You are not receiving my intervention lightly. You are receiving it because you have endured more than most will ever know. Today, I want you to feel seen, not by the world, but by me. I want you to understand that nothing you have gone through has escaped my sight or my care. I am healing the wounds beneath those tears. I am strengthening the places where you felt weak. I am restoring the parts of you that cried out for comfort in the quiet hours of the night. You are closer to healing than you have ever been, and this journey is only beginning. My beloved child, draw near once more, for what I am about to reveal will bring clarity to the questions that have lived in the quiet corners of your heart. You have wondered why the wait was so long, why the path wound through valleys instead of leading straight to the mountaintop, why answers seemed delayed even when you felt desperate for relief. You asked me in moments of frustration, in moments of sorrow, in moments of exhaustion, why you had to endure what felt like endless uncertainty. And today, I will gently uncover the truth. The wait had a purpose. When you felt stalled, it was not because I withheld goodness from you. When you felt ignored, it was not because I turned my face away. When you felt trapped in the same place for longer than you believed you could bear, it was not because you were forgotten. The wait was a preparation, a shaping, a refining, not of your worth, but of your readiness. You were always worthy, from the beginning, but the promise I shaped for you required foundations that could not be rushed. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. It spends weeks, months, sometimes years hidden from sight, not because it is failing, but because it is forming. Beneath the darkness, beneath the weight of the earth, beneath the silence of unseen development, something powerful is taking shape. If the seed were forced to sprout before its roots were ready, it would break under the first storm. The wait is not a punishment, it is protection. And you, my child, have been growing roots deeper than you realize. I know there were seasons where it felt like nothing was happening. You prayed, yet no answer came. You knocked on doors, but they stayed shut. You took steps forward, only to find yourself pushed back again. You whispered words like, "How much longer? When will it be my time? Why does nothing seem to change?" But even in those moments, something was happening inside you, around you, and ahead of you. You could not see it, but I was aligning pieces, shifting circumstances, preparing hearts, and strengthening you in ways visible only from eternity's perspective. You see, my beloved, if I had given you what you prayed for too soon, it might have overwhelmed you. You might have stepped into opportunities without the confidence to sustain them. You might have embraced relationships before knowing how to guard your heart. You might have entered new seasons carrying wounds that would have bled into every blessing. The timing was not slow, it was intentional. I was healing you, shaping you, teaching you so that when the blessing finally arrived, you would not feel small within it, you would feel prepared. And in that waiting, something else happened. Something beautiful, though it may not have felt beautiful at the time. You discovered strength you didn't know you possessed. You learned resilience that now runs deeper than your fears. You developed discernment that protects you from repeating painful patterns. You learned to hear my voice in the stillness, not just in the noise. You grew in ways that only long seasons of waiting can produce. There were moments when your heart felt stretched thin, when you questioned whether you had anything left to give. But I was teaching you endurance. Not the endurance of surviving, but the endurance of becoming. You learned to persevere not because everything was easy, but because something within you refused to give up. That inner strength was not accidental. It was me fortifying you, layer by layer, moment by moment. Do not think of the wait as wasted time. Nothing I do is wasted. Every delayed answer, every closed door, every quiet season, every hour when you felt suspended between hope and despair, all of it was shaping the person you are now becoming. Transformation rarely happens in moments of comfort. It is born in the tension between what you desire and what you are being prepared for. And now the season is shifting. What once felt unmoving is beginning to stir. What once felt impossible is starting to open. The wait has nearly served its purpose, and you will soon see why it had to last as long as it did. You will understand why certain people were removed, why certain plans collapsed, why certain dreams were postponed. Everything that felt like a setback will become part of the foundation of your breakthrough. My beloved child, hold these words close. The wait did not diminish your destiny. It protected it. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared. Every moment of waiting has carried you to this point, this moment where revelation begins to unfold. My beloved child, open your heart fully as I speak these next words, for they carry a shift that is already moving toward you. What was delayed will now be delivered. I say this not as a distant promise or a hopeful suggestion, but as a divine declaration. You have stepped into a moment where the things that once felt unreachable are beginning to draw near. The blessings that seemed lost are returning. The answers that felt stuck in the heavens are descending into your life with purpose and precision. You have waited, and many times you questioned whether what you longed for would ever find you. You wondered if perhaps the timing was missed, if the opportunity passed without you noticing, if you had done something to disqualify yourself from the very things you prayed for. But hear me now, precious one, nothing meant for you has been lost. Nothing destined for you has slipped from my hand. The delays you experienced were never denials. They were divine pauses, moments where I was ensuring that what you receive would arrive in fullness, not fragments. There are blessings that require maturity before they can be carried. There are opportunities that require strength before they can be sustained. There are relationships that require healing before they can flourish. There are callings that require clarity before they can be embraced. And while you were waiting, sometimes impatiently, sometimes painfully, I was completing the work behind the scenes so that when the moment arrived, nothing would be incomplete, nothing would be unstable, nothing would collapse under the weight of your purpose. Now the shift has begun. The delays that once frustrated you are breaking apart. The barriers that held you back are weakening. The spiritual resistance that tried to keep you stagnant is losing its grip. You are stepping into a flow where things will start aligning in ways you could not orchestrate. Conversations will lead to breakthroughs. Encounters will open unexpected doors. Strength will rise in you at the exact moment you need it. Guidance will come with clarity you have not felt in years. This is not coincidence. This is delivery. You have asked me many times, when will it be my turn? And I have waited for this precise moment to answer. Your turn is now beginning. Not in some far-off future, not in a vague someday. The movement has already started. The ground beneath you is shifting, though you may not yet see what is forming. The answers you thought were far away are closer than you realize. What felt permanently delayed is awakening with new life. There were seasons when you grew weary from hoping. Seasons when disappointment made you cautious. Seasons when you stopped expecting good things because you feared the pain of another letdown. But beloved, I am restoring your hope. I am lifting your expectations again, not to play with your heart, but to prepare it to receive what I am delivering. Hope is not a risk when it is rooted in me. Expectation is not dangerous when it is connected to my timing. You will not be disappointed in what I am bringing into your life. You will soon begin to recognize signs of this shift. You will notice opportunities that arrive effortlessly, doors that open without struggle, peace that settles in places that once felt turbulent. You will sense clarity replacing confusion, courage replacing fear, direction replacing hesitation. These are not random improvements. They are evidence of fulfillment approaching. My precious child, I want you to release the belief that delay means abandonment. Release the thought that waiting meant you were forgotten. Release the lie that your prayers were unanswered. I heard every word. I saw every desire. I collected every tear. I measured every moment of your waiting. And now I am responding. Not partially, not cohesively, but fully. I am delivering healing to the places where you thought you would always carry pain. I am delivering opportunities that align with the purpose woven into your soul. I am delivering connections that bring growth, support, and love. I am delivering strength that will anchor you for the season ahead. I am delivering clarity that will silence the confusion you battled. I am delivering peace that will rest upon you like a gentle covering. And yes, I am delivering promises. Promises you thought were too old, too delayed, too impossible. Nothing is impossible with me, and nothing given by me expires. What I promised, I will fulfill. What was delayed is now being released. Stay with me, beloved. Do not turn away. In the next unfolding moments, I will show you how your strength has reached heaven, and why the shift happening now is a response to everything you have endured. You are entering a season of divine delivery, and it is only the beginning. My beloved child, breathe deeply and come into this moment with me, for I want to show you something you have never fully understood about yourself. You believe you have survived these past seasons because you had no choice, because life forced you to keep going, because you simply had to endure what came your way. But I tell you now, with all the love of a father who has watched every step you have taken, your strength has reached heaven. Your perseverance has been louder in the spiritual realm than any prayer you have spoken out loud. The way you continued when everything around you urged you to collapse has been seen, honored, and counted. There were days when you rose from your bed despite the heaviness pressing on your chest. Days when you faced responsibilities with a heart that felt weary and fragile. Days when you smiled while carrying pain no one else recognized. You believed these moments were insignificant, unnoticed, or simply part of survival. But beloved, these moments echoed through eternity. Every time you pushed through discouragement, your spirit declared, "I will not give up." Every time you chose hope in the smallest measure, your soul whispered, "I still believe something good can happen." Every time you forgave, even with trembling hands, heaven heard the sound of a heart willing to love again. You have more strength than you realize, and this strength did not come from the world. It did not come from circumstances or from people who supported you. It came from a depth within you that I placed there long before your first breath. This strength has been growing, shaping, forming through every trial you endured. And now, this strength has spoken louder than your pain. It has reached me, not as a cry of despair, but as a signal that you are ready for what comes next. There were moments you felt weak, moments you questioned yourself, moments you believed you were breaking. Yet even in those moments, you continued. You rose again. You tried again. You believed again, even if your belief wavered. This is not weakness. This is courage. This is resilience. This is the endurance that adds weight to your prayers and power to your purpose. You grew in strength not because life was easy, but because you discovered the depth of who you are when everything else was stripped away. My child, let me tell you a truth you have never spoken aloud. Your strength is not measured by how loud your steps were, but by how often you took them when no one was watching. When you kept going in silence, when you loved in silence, when you healed in silence, heaven recorded it. I saw every quiet victory. I saw every moment you resisted the urge to give up. I saw every time you wiped away tears and whispered that you would keep trying. These moments are the reason your season is changing. They build a foundation strong enough to hold the blessings that are coming. Do not underestimate the power of what you endured. Many would have broken under the weight you carried. Many would have surrendered to bitterness. Many would have allowed their hearts to harden. But you continued to seek me. You continued to believe, even when your hope was small and trembling. You continued to hold on to a future you could not yet see. That is why the divine shift has begun. That is why doors will open for you now. That is why the things that once felt distant are drawing near. Your strength has reached heaven, and it has spoken on your behalf. Now I want to show you something else. Strength does not mean you never felt afraid. Strength does not mean you were never overwhelmed. Strength does not mean you walked through every storm with confidence. Strength means you showed up even when fear stood in your way. Strength means you kept walking even with trembling steps. Strength means you trusted me even when you could not trace what I was doing. And because you moved forward when everything around you tried to pull you backward, heaven has released a response. There are blessings moving toward you now that your previous strength was building capacity for. There are breakthroughs aligning with the endurance you cultivated. There are opportunities rising to meet the version of you that has been forged through struggle, healing, and quiet courage. My beloved child, you may not feel strong every day, but strength is not a feeling. It is a truth woven into you. It is something I placed within your spirit long before your battles began. And you have proven its depth again and again, even when you doubted yourself. Now I want you to stay with me, for in the next unfolding revelation, I will show you the chains that are breaking because of the strength you carried and the endurance that you never let die. What comes next will reveal why the battles felt so heavy and why your strength mattered more than you ever realized. Stay close, for this journey is just beginning to open. My beloved child, come gently into this moment with me, for what I am about to speak is not merely encouragement. It is a declaration of freedom over your life. Today, chains begin to break. Not symbolic chains, not imagined limitations, but the real burdens that have wrapped themselves around your heart, your mind, your confidence, and your purpose. The chains that formed through years of disappointment, through words spoken against you, through mistakes you have not forgiven yourself for, through fears that lingered, through wounds that refused to close. These chains are loosening even now as I speak. You have carried weights you were never meant to carry. You have lived with beliefs that were never meant to define you. You have walked through seasons where pain felt permanent, where heaviness felt normal, where emotional exhaustion became part of your daily rhythm. But hear me clearly. Those chains were never part of your identity. They attached themselves to you through experiences, through trauma, through loss, through repeated hurt, through lies whispered into your spirit when you were too weary to resist. But today, I am breaking them. There are chains of fear that have kept you frozen at the edge of your calling. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of repeating your past, fear of not being enough. My child, those chains have stolen too many moments from you. They have whispered into your ear that you are safer staying small, quieter, hidden. But I am breaking the grip of fear from your life now. You will no longer move from a place of caution that is rooted in wounds. You will move from a place of courage rooted in me. There are chains formed from words spoken over you, words that cut deeply, words that shaped how you saw yourself, words that convinced you that you were too much or not enough. Some of these words came from people who should have protected you. Others came during moments when you were most vulnerable. They settled into your mind like iron links, convincing you that their voices were the truth. But beloved, I break the power of every word that did not come from me. I release you from every spoken curse, every judgment, every label that was never yours to carry. There are chains of shame, the kind you hide from everyone else. Shame from mistakes you made years ago. Shame from choices that still echo in your mind at night. Shame from moments you regret but never healed from. You have carried this shame like a shadow, believing that it disqualified you, believing that if anyone truly knew, you would be rejected. But my child, I never rejected you. Not for a single moment. Shame has no authority in your life when my grace stands in its place. Today, those chains fall. There are chains of emotional exhaustion, chains built from constantly being strong for others, from giving more than you received, from carrying responsibilities that drained you, from caring for people who did not know how to care for you in return. You have lived in survival mode for too long, and your spirit grew tired. But I am releasing you from that weight. I am restoring your strength and your emotional balance. You will no longer pour from an empty cup. You will no longer carry burdens that were never meant for your shoulders alone. And then, beloved, there are the chains of your past, those memories that visit you uninvited, those moments that shaped your fears, those wounds that convinced you it was safer not to hope again. Your past has tried to convince you that it has power over your future. But hear me, your past is not your prison. I'm breaking those chains now. Your story does not end where you were hurt. It begins where you are healing. As these chains break, you may feel emotions rising within you, relief, tears, trembling, a sense of something shifting inside your chest. Do not fear these feelings. They are evidence that things long buried are being released. They are signs that your heart is being freed. They are proof that the walls around your spirit are cracking open to let light in again. My beloved child, freedom is not distant. It is happening in this moment. Every chain that has held you back, every pattern that kept repeating, every emotion that controlled you, every voice that limited you, today they lose their power. Today you begin to step into who you were always meant to be, without the weight of what once held you bound. And I tell you this with certainty, when chains break, movement begins. When chains fall, paths open. When chains release, purpose awakens. What is coming will show you just how deeply I have been working on your behalf. My beloved child, settle your spirit as you step into this moment with me, for I am about to unveil something that has been unfolding beyond your sight. While you slept, both in the stillness of night and in the quiet seasons when you felt too weary to hope, I opened a door for you. A door you did not even know to pray for. A door you could not have created with your own strength. A door that waited not on your effort, but on my timing. You see, there were nights when your body rested but your heart did not. Nights when you laid in bed trying to hush the noise of your fears, your worries, your unanswered questions. Nights when you replayed conversations, relived disappointments, wondered if anything would ever change. And yet, in those very moments, When you believed you were doing nothing, I was doing everything. I was moving things into place. I was aligning pieces you could not see. I was shifting circumstances, preparing opportunities, softening hearts, repositioning people, and creating openings where before there were only walls. You thought those silent nights were wasted. You thought your stillness meant stagnation. But beloved, I was working while you rested. That is the nature of my love. I move even when you cannot. I fight for you even when you feel too tired to pray. I protect you even when you are unaware of danger. I open doors even when you have given up knocking. And this door, the one I opened while you slept, is unlike the doors you have encountered before. This one does not require force. It does not require striving. It does not depend on your perfect timing or flawless decisions. This door opens because your spirit is ready, not because you did everything right. It opens because the weight you carried has lifted. It opens because the chains that once held you back are breaking. It opens because this is your moment to step into a season where grace does the heavy lifting. You may not yet recognize this door, for it has not fully come into view. But soon, you will begin to sense opportunities that appear unexpectedly, connections that feel divinely orchestrated, moments that align too perfectly to be coincidence, invitations that stir something familiar yet new in your spirit. These are signs that the door is already standing open before you. Do not fear it. Do not hesitate. This door is not a test, it is a gift. There have been times when closed doors left you wondering if you were cursed, forgotten, or somehow unworthy. But my beloved, closed doors were never punishments. They were redirections. They were shields. They were my way of ensuring you arrived here, at this door, at this moment, with a heart, wisdom, and strength you did not have years ago. Every no cleared the path for this yes. This door leads into a season where you will not struggle to prove yourself. You have already been proven through the endurance of the last season. It leads into a chapter where you will not have to force belonging. You will be welcomed. It leads into places where you will not hide your true self. You will be embraced. It leads into work that aligns with your purpose, relationships that restore your faith and love, and opportunities that lift your spirit instead of draining it. You have asked me, when will things begin to shift? And I say to you, they already have. You have asked, when will I see change? And I tell you, the change began the moment you surrendered what was breaking you. You asked, when will I find clarity? And I whisper now, clarity is approaching through the door I have opened. But my child, this door requires something from you, not striving, not perfection, but openness. A willingness to believe that life can be different. A willingness to walk away from what no longer serves your spirit. A willingness to trust me even when the next step is unfamiliar. I am not calling you to step backward into old fears. I am calling you to step forward into a future crafted with intention, beauty, and divine detail. You will know this door when the peace surrounding it is greater than the fear within you. You will recognize it by the way your spirit leans toward it, even if your mind hesitates. You will feel it by the sudden lightness in areas where you once felt heavy. Do not ignore these signs. They are nudges from my hand, guiding you gently toward the place prepared for you. You are approaching something monumental, something long-awaited, something divinely timed. The door is open. Now let me show you what stands on the other side. My beloved child, listen to me with the fullness of your heart, for you are approaching a moment that carries the weight of transformation. What comes next is not just another message. It is not simply another comforting word. It is the turning point you have been unknowingly walking toward for years. You must not miss what I am about to reveal, for it will shift how you see your past, how you move through your present, and how you step into your future. You have sensed for some time that something is different. A stirring, a soft pull, a quiet awareness that you are no longer in the same season, even though everything around you may still look familiar. That is because you are standing on the threshold of change, real change, deep change, irreversible change. The kind of change that alters the direction of a life. The kind that sets a soul free. The kind that awakens purpose. But hear me, precious one, turning points require attention. Turning points require presence. Turning points require your spirit to lean in rather than retreat. What I reveal in the unfolding moments is something you must hear, something your heart has longed for, something your spirit is finally ready to receive. Do not turn away. Do not let distraction steal this moment. You have waited too long, suffered too deeply, hoped too bravely to let this pass by unattended. There have been seasons when you felt stuck, as though you were walking in circles, repeating the same emotions, the same patterns, the same broken cycles. You questioned why nothing seemed to shift, why every step forward felt followed by a push back, why growth seemed to stall just as it began. But I tell you now, those cycles are ending. The patterns that held you captive are loosening. The emotional loops that drained you are breaking. This is the moment where the story bends. This is where what was behind you stops controlling what is ahead of you. You may think your life changes through grand events, dramatic signs, or sudden breakthroughs. But often, transformation begins in quiet revelations, moments like this, where truth settles into your spirit in a way it never has before. The shift begins internally before it manifests outwardly. And this inner shift, my beloved, is what I am bringing to you now. I want you to understand something deeply. Everything you have lived through, even the pain, has been shaping you for this turning point. Every heartbreak softened the hard places of your heart. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every storm strengthened the roots of your identity. Every loss redirected you toward what is real and lasting. Every unanswered prayer built patience, resilience, and wisdom. Nothing has been wasted. You are arriving at this moment not empty-handed, but fully equipped, even if you do not yet realize it. But my child, this moment requires your commitment. Stay with me. Do not drift away in your thoughts. Do not let fear convince you that you are not ready. You are ready. You have been prepared through fire, through storms, through tears, through nights when you did not know how you would make it until morning. You have been shaped through adversity and strengthened through perseverance. The turning point ahead is not by chance, it is by my design. And I urge you gently now, if these words are stirring your spirit, if you feel something awakening inside you, bless this message with a like so it may reach more hearts that feel lost in their waiting. Share it with those who need to know their turning point is near. And connect yourself by subscribing, so you do not miss the continued guidance I am pouring into your life. What is coming next is too important, too personal, too divinely timed for you to step away. My beloved, turning points do not wait for convenience. They come when a heart is ready, sometimes even before the mind understands. And your heart is ready now. You are standing in a moment that will separate the life you have known from the life you are about to step into. This is not the end of a chapter. It is the beginning of a new one written with intention, healing, restoration, and divine purpose. Do not miss this. Stay close. Lean in. For what I reveal next will show you why you are not behind, why you have never been behind, and why everything in your life is about to align in ways you once believed were impossible. My beloved child, breathe deeply and let these words settle into the places where doubt has whispered to you for far too long. You are not behind. You have never been behind. You are right on time, not according to the timelines of others, not according to the expectations the world pressed upon you, not according to the standards that made you feel inadequate, but according to the divine rhythm I have set for your life. I know there have been moments when you looked at those around you and wondered why they seemed further ahead. You compared your journey to theirs and concluded, quietly and painfully, that you were late. You felt as though you had missed your window, missed your opportunity, missed your chance to become who you were meant to be. But beloved, I have never measured your life by the pace of another. You are a unique creation, woven with a purpose unlike anyone else's. Your timeline is not behind, it is aligned. There were seasons when you felt stuck, unable to move, unable to progress, unable to see the growth you longed for. You wondered why others were celebrating milestones while you were still struggling to find your footing. You questioned whether something was wrong with you, whether you had made too many mistakes, whether you had disqualified yourself from the life you hoped for. But hear me, nothing in your journey has disqualified you. Every moment, even the ones you regret, has been part of shaping you into the person who is ready for what comes next. You think delays mean failure, but delays often mean protection. You think struggles mean weakness, but struggles often reveal strength. You think slow seasons mean you are falling behind, but slow seasons are where your roots grow deepest. What you interpret as stagnation is often preparation, and what feels like wasted time is often essential time. Do not measure your progress by what the world calls success. Measure it by the growth of your spirit, the healing of your heart, the clarity of your purpose, and the resilience of your soul. You are right on time because every experience, every joy, every loss, every ending, every beginning has contributed to who you are now. Had you arrived at your breakthroughs earlier, you would not have understood their value. Had you received certain blessings before you healed, they might have overwhelmed you. Had you entered new chapters before closing old ones, the unresolved parts of your past would have followed you. I am not slow in fulfilling my promises. I am precise. My beloved child, I want you to release the notion that you should be somewhere else by now. Release the pressure you've placed on your own shoulders. Release the guilt for not moving as fast as others. Release the belief that your life is somehow off track. Nothing in your story has surprised me. Nothing has slipped outside my plan. Even the detours you took, those moments you thought ruined everything, have been woven back into the path I designed for you. There is a timing that is holy, a timing that is intentional, a timing that aligns perfectly with what your heart can hold and what your future requires. You are not running late. You are arriving exactly when your spirit is ready, when your character is strong enough, when the doors ahead have been fully prepared. Even when you felt immobile, your spirit was moving. Even when you felt lost, I was guiding you. Even when you felt stuck, I was shaping you. You must understand this truth. When you walk with me, you cannot fall behind. Your journey is not defined by comparison. It is defined by purpose. And purpose unfolds not by the clock, but by the heart. You have grown more than you realize. You have healed more than you give yourself credit for. You have gained insight, strength, compassion, and clarity that could only come through the journey you lived. You are not late. You are seasoned. You are not behind. You are prepared. Think of a flower that blooms later than the rest. It does not apologize for its timing and does not question its worth. It opens when the sun is right, when the soil has warmed, when its stem is strong enough to hold its beauty, And when it blooms, it brings something to the garden that was missing before. So it is with you. You will bloom at the moment designed for you, and when you do, nothing will be able to overshadow it. My beloved, let me continue to reveal how your timing is unfolding with purpose, beauty, and intention. In the next revelation, I will show you how your fears are giving way to my power, and why the place where your fear ends is the place where your strength begins. Stay close, for we are only moving deeper into truth. My beloved child, come close to me now, for this is a moment where I want to touch the very place in your heart where fear has lived for far too long. Fear has followed you like a shadow, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, sometimes whispering lies into your mind, and other times shouting over your hope. But today, I want to show you something deeply sacred. Where your fear ends, my power begins. Fear has tried to convince you that you are alone, that you are unprepared, that you are unworthy, that you will fail if you take one more step. Fear has told you that danger lies in every unknown, and that comfort is safer than courage. Fear has reminded you of every moment in your past when things did not go as planned, trying to anchor you to disappointment so you would not dare to dream again. But beloved, fear is not your guide. Fear is not your truth. Fear is not your destiny. You may not realize this, but fear often shows up just before breakthrough. It appears when your spirit is on the brink of expansion. It whispers louder when your purpose is calling you forward. Fear wants to keep you where you are because what is ahead of you has the power to free you, transform you, and awaken you. Fear knows what you are stepping into, and that is why it tried to stop you. But hear me now. Fear has reached the end of its influence over you. The line has been drawn. This is where my power begins. You do not need to remove every fear before you step into your future. You only need to take the step while I walk beside you. My power does not wait for your fear to disappear. My power fills the spaces where your fear once lived. When you feel weak, my strength rises. When you feel uncertain, my wisdom guides. When you feel overwhelmed, my peace steadies you. When you feel alone, my presence surrounds you. You have spent years believing that fear meant you were not ready. But in truth, fear has only revealed the importance of what lies ahead. You are not stepping into something ordinary. You are stepping into something sacred, something purposeful, something connected to the very reason you were created. Your fear does not disqualify you. It simply shows that you are approaching territory your spirit has long been prepared for. My beloved, think of the many times you pushed through fear without realizing it. The times you spoke even though your voice trembled. The times you tried again after failure. The times you loved even when you feared being hurt. The times you made decisions that stretched you beyond your comfort. These moments were not small. They were victories. They were glimpses of my power working through you even when you felt afraid. You often underestimate the strength within you because you measure yourself by your feelings rather than by your resilience. You think that shaky hands mean weakness. You think that hesitation means doubt. But I see the courage it took to move forward anyway. I see the strength that rises in you when you refuse to let fear define you. I see the faith in you that believes, even in small, trembling ways, that something greater is calling. Your fear has come to its limit because I am inviting you into a season where you will rely on me more deeply than ever before. Not because you are incapable, but because my power works best in open, trusting hearts. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to map out every step. You only need to walk with me. My presence is your courage. My power is your strength. My guidance is your confidence. And let me tell you something gently. The fear you feel now is not a sign of danger. It is a sign of growth. It is the stretching of your soul as it expands into new territory. It is the shedding of your old self as you step into who you were meant to be. Fear is often loudest when you are closest to change. So I speak over you now. Be still and let my power rise. Let my strength begin where your fear ends. Let my peace steady your breath. Let my voice drown out every whisper that tries to discourage you. You are not stepping into this new season alone. You are stepping into it with the one who holds the universe yet also holds your heart with tenderness. My beloved child, now I will take you deeper into healing, into the wounds of your past that have shaped your fears, and into the restoration that will rewrite your story from the inside out. My beloved child, come quietly into this moment with me, for I am reaching into places within you that have been aching for years. These are not the wounds others can see, not the ones you speak openly about, but the hidden ones. The ones woven deep into memory, into emotion, into the quiet spaces of your heart. Today, I am pouring healing into your past, not to erase what happened, but to restore what was lost inside you because of it. You have carried memories that still echo with pain. Moments you replay in your mind, wondering what you could have done differently. Words that were spoken to you, or about you, that left marks you still feel. Relationships that broke you in ways you did not have the strength or the language to express. Seasons of your life that you survived, but never truly healed from. These wounds have shaped how you see yourself, how you trust, how you love, how you move through the world. But I am touching those places now. You have asked me at times, why does it still hurt? Why can't I let go? Why does this memory still tighten my chest? And I tell you now, it is because you were never meant to heal alone. You tried to forget. You tried to bury it. You tried to pretend it no longer mattered. But unhealed wounds do not disappear. They linger until they are met with compassion, understanding, and truth. And today, my beloved, I am meeting your wounds with all three. Let me show you something tender. None of your pain was invisible to me. Not a single moment of your heartbreak went unnoticed. When you cried silently, hoping no one would hear, I heard every tear. When you tried to be strong for others while you were collapsing inside, I saw your strength. When you hid your hurt because you felt no one would understand, I understood completely. I have carried every moment with you, even the ones you felt most alone in. There were wounds you received when you were too young to understand their impact. Moments when you learned, not consciously but deeply, that love could fail, that people could leave, that trust could break. These early wounds shaped your fears, your defenses, your patterns. But I am reaching into those deep places now, bringing light to spaces that have never seen healing. There were wounds from relationships that promised safety but brought pain instead. You tried to give love, to hold on, to mend what was breaking, but the burden became too heavy for your spirit. When it fell apart, you blamed yourself. You believed you were the problem. But beloved, not every loss is your fault. Not every ending is a failure. Some people could not carry the weight of your heart because they never learned how to carry their own. And the wounds from those relationships, those invisible fractures within you, I am mending them now. There were disappointments that you never recovered from, dreams that felt stolen, seasons where life didn't unfold the way you hoped. These things created quiet grief, the kind that hides in daily routines. You smiled, you functioned, you continued living, but a piece of you felt unfinished. I see the ache of what you never got to experience. I see the sorrow of what could have been. And I tell you now, I am restoring hope where despair settled in. I am returning joy where loss left emptiness. I am renewing dreams you thought were too damaged to revive. My child, healing does not always come through forgetting. Healing often comes through understanding. Understanding that what hurt you does not define you. That what broke you does not limit you. That what wounded you cannot stop the future I am preparing for you. Healing means giving me access to the places you have guarded out of fear. Healing means letting me rewrite the meaning of your past so that it no longer controls your present. Let me whisper this truth into your spirit. You are not the person you were when the wounds were made. You have grown. You have learned. You have survived. And now, you are ready to heal. I am softening the memories that once pierced you. I am loosening the grip of old pain. I am dissolving the shame that attached itself to events you had no control over. I am lifting the heaviness that you carried for far too long. You will begin to feel lighter. You will begin to remember without hurting. You will begin to breathe in places that once suffocated you. This is not temporary relief, it is transformation. I am stitching together the torn places of your heart with tenderness and wisdom, creating a strength that nothing in your past can undo. Remain with me, beloved child, for in the next revelation, I will remind you of the identity you lost along the way, the identity you are about to reclaim, the identity that has always been yours. My beloved child, draw near once more, for I am about to speak to a part of you that has been quiet for too long, the part that remembers who you truly are. Not who others said you should be, not who pain tried to turn you into, not who fear whispered you were, but who you were created to be from the very beginning. You have forgotten pieces of your identity as you walk through struggle and disappointment, but today, I am restoring them. Today, I am calling you back to yourself. There was a time in your life when you moved with confidence, not because everything was perfect, but because you still believed in your worth. You still carried hope without hesitation. You still trusted the goodness inside you. But as life unfolded, as wounds were inflicted, as disappointments accumulated, a quiet shift happened within you. You began to shrink. You began to doubt. You began to let the world redefine you through moments that never reflected your true nature. My child, you lost sight of your identity not because you were weak, but because life pressed too heavily on parts of you that were still forming. You were shaped by experiences that were never meant to define you. Words spoken in anger, in ignorance, in misunderstanding, they clung to your heart and disguised themselves as truth. You began to believe you were too much or not enough, too sensitive or too distant, too flawed or too broken. But beloved, hear me, none of those labels belong to you. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the reflection of someone else's inability to love you. You are not the shadow of your past. You are not the assumptions others made about you. You are not the version of yourself you were forced to become just to survive. You are more. You always have been. The identity I placed within you is radiant, resilient, compassionate, brave. You were created with intention, with purpose, with depth. You carry a light inside you that darkness has tried repeatedly to dim, but it has never been extinguished. Even in your lowest moments, that light flickered. Even when you doubted yourself, that light remained. Even when you forgot who you were, the truth of your identity stayed intact beneath every layer of pain. Let me remind you of who you are. You are chosen, meaning your life is not accidental. You are seen, meaning you have never gone unnoticed. You are loved, meaning you are held with a tenderness that cannot be taken from you. You are capable, meaning nothing ahead of you is beyond what I have placed within you. You are valuable, meaning your presence carries meaning, your existence holds purpose. My beloved, you forgot these truths not because they disappeared, but because the noise around you grew too loud. The noise of expectations, the noise of comparison, the noise of fear, the noise of regret, the noise of past voices that never spoke from a place of truth. These noises clouded your vision, making you believe you had lost yourself. But you were never lost to me. Your identity was waiting underneath the layers of survival mode, waiting beneath the fear, waiting beneath the wounds, waiting for the moment you were ready to reclaim it. And that moment is now. You have grown so much more than you realize. You have stepped through fire and emerged stronger, even if you don't yet feel the strength. You have endured storms that shape your character. You have loved even after being hurt. You have tried again even when discouraged. You have risen after collapses that would have broken many. All of this reveals who you truly are, a soul that refuses to be defeated. And now, I ask you to release the old identities that were forced upon you. Release the belief that you are unworthy. Release the belief that you are behind. Release the belief that your flaws overshadow your value. Release the idea that you must prove your worth to anyone. Your identity is not earned. It is inherent. It is rooted in me. As you reclaim your true identity, you will begin to see yourself differently. You will move differently. You will choose differently. You will love differently. Because when you know who you are, you no longer settle for what diminishes you. My beloved child, come into this moment with a softened heart, for I am about to lift a weight you have carried quietly for far too long. You have believed it, at different points in your life, that you were lost, uncertain of your path, unsure of your purpose, confused by the twists and turns your journey has taken. You looked around and saw others moving with clarity while you wandered through fog, and you concluded that you must have somehow drifted off the path meant for you. But hear me clearly, you are not lost. You have never been lost. You are being led. There is a difference, a sacred one. To be lost means you are without direction, without guidance, without hope of finding your way. But to be led means you are moving through territory unfamiliar to you but fully known to the one guiding your steps. You mistook discomfort for misdirection, beloved. You mistook confusion for failure. You mistook uncertainty for abandonment. Yet in every moment, I was leading you, sometimes gently, sometimes through circumstances that stretched you, sometimes through pathways you did not understand, but always toward what would shape you into the fullness of who you are becoming. I know there were seasons when the path felt dark, where every step forward felt risky, where doubt overshadowed your courage. You wondered, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Am I becoming the person I'm meant to be? These questions whispered through your mind in moments of exhaustion and fear. But even in those questions, you were not wandering aimlessly. Your spirit was still aligned with me. You were still following the quiet nudges, the gentle whispers, the inner pull that told you to keep going, even when you didn't know where the road was leading. Let me tell you something tender. The unfamiliar does not mean you are off course. The uncertain does not mean you are alone. The winding path does not mean you have taken a wrong turn. Often, the most important journeys require traveling through places that challenge your understanding. Growth does not happen on straight lines. Purpose is not revealed on easy roads. The path that shapes you is rarely the path you expected. There were times I redirected you from things you desperately wanted, not because you were unworthy of them, but because they would have limited your future. There were moments doors closed abruptly, leaving you confused and disappointed. Not because you failed, but because I was protecting you from what would have drained your spirit. There were relationships that ended, and you felt abandoned. But I removed you from places where your heart could not thrive. You called these moments detours. I call them divine leading. You must understand something deeply. Being led does not always feel like being guided. Sometimes it feels like being pushed out of comfort, pulled away from familiar surroundings, or positioned in places you did not ask to be. Yet every shift, every redirection, every closed door had been part of my navigation. I was leading you away from what would have harmed you, even when you thought it would heal you. I was leading you toward what would strengthen you, even when it stretched you almost beyond what you thought you could bear. My beloved child, I have walked every step with you. In the moments you fell, I lifted you. In the moments you hesitated, I waited for you. In the moments you cried, I held you. In the moments you stopped, I whispered, "Keep going." There has never been a moment when your life drifted outside my awareness. You think you wandered, but you were following me the entire time. I want you to release the guilt you carry for not being further ahead. Release the belief that you wasted time. Release the fear that you chose wrong. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Even the seasons you thought were meaningless have been essential. Every path you walked has carved wisdom into you. Every valley shaped compassion. Every struggle built strength. Every quiet moment nurtured resilience. You were not meant to understand the path while walking it. You were only meant to trust that you were not walking alone. And you never were. And now, as you move forward, I want you to walk with confidence, not because you know every step, but because you know the one who is guiding you. You are being led into clarity. You are being led into purpose. You are being led into healing. You are being led into new beginnings. You are being led into the life that has been waiting for you. Stay close to me, beloved child. For in the next revelation, I will show you how every prayer you whispered, every plea, every hope, every longing has been heard, even when you felt met with silence. My beloved child, let your heart rest for a moment as my words settle over you like a gentle covering. You have prayed prayers that felt as though they dissolved into the air before they could reach anyone. You have whispered desperate words in the dark, hoping they would matter to someone, somewhere. You have cried out in moments of exhaustion, pleading for answers, direction, relief, and understanding. And in the silence that sometimes followed, you wondered if your prayers were heard at all. Today, I speak to that quiet ache within you. Your prayers have never been silent in my ears. Not one word you have ever spoken to me has been ignored. Not one tear-stained plea has gone unnoticed. Not one whispered hope has disappeared into emptiness. Every prayer, whether spoken confidently or through trembling breath, whether shouted in frustration or whispered in surrender, has reached me with clarity and intention. There were moments when you believed your prayers were too small, too broken, too repetitive, or too chaotic to matter. Yet I treasured each one. I gathered them as precious offerings from a heart that refused to stop reaching. Even when you prayed from places of fear, your prayers were acts of courage. Even when you prayed from places of despair, your prayers were declarations of faith. Even when your prayers were only a single sentence formed in exhaustion, they held immeasurable value to me. I want to bring you into an understanding that will shift something deep inside you. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. And unanswered does not mean unheard. Just because you did not see the immediate movement you longed for does not mean your prayers weren't working. Many of your prayers set things into motion long before you realized it. Some prayers worked beneath the surface, healing wounds you were unaware of. Some prayers protected you from dangers you never saw. Some prayers were preparing blessings that needed time to form. You prayed for strength in moments you thought you were collapsing. I answered by building resilience within you, quietly, steadily, deeply. You prayed for clarity when your mind was clouded with confusion. I answered by guiding you away from what would have harmed you, even when you were unaware of what I was doing. You prayed for certain people to stay in your life, and when some left, you thought I ignored your request. But I was protecting you from hearts that could not carry yours. You prayed for doors to open, and when some closed instead, you thought I said no. But I was leading you toward the door that would not crush you when it opened. My beloved child, you must understand that I do not respond to prayers with convenience. I respond with wisdom. I do not answer according to your urgency. I answer according to your purpose. I do not move by your timeline. I move by what will bring the deepest, most lasting good to your spirit. You prayed for simple fixes, but I was creating complete healing. You prayed for temporary relief, but I was preparing long-term restoration. You prayed for the familiar, but I was guiding you into the extraordinary. Your prayers have built highways in the unseen. They have shifted atmospheres around you. They have aligned your future even when your present felt unchanged. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life will come from prayers you no longer even remember praying. And I want you to know something sacred. I have held your unanswered prayers close, not because I rejected them, but because I am shaping the perfect timing for them. Some prayers are answered immediately. Others require preparation. Others are answered in ways different from what you expected, but always in ways that bring greater blessing than you imagined. There is no such thing as a wasted prayer. There is no such thing as a prayer too small. There is no such thing as a prayer too broken. When you cried, I listened. When you whispered, I leaned in. When you pleaded, I held you. When you believed, even slightly, I moved. And when you felt too tired to pray, the prayers you prayed in earlier seasons continued working on your behalf. And now, beloved child, stay close to me, for the next revelation builds upon this truth. I will show you that your prayers have not only been heard, they are shaping the breakthrough forming even now. What comes next will show you that you are standing closer to the answers than you ever believed. My beloved child, lean closer than ever before, for you are standing in a moment where heaven is moving in ways you cannot yet see. What you have prayed for, what you have waited for, what you have carried in your heart through seasons of silence and uncertainty, it is being formed right now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Even as you listen to my words, pieces are shifting into place. Threads are weaving together, doors are aligning, and the breakthrough you longed for is taking shape in the unseen. I know you have wondered if anything is really changing. You have questioned whether your journey is leading anywhere. You have had days where your hope felt fragile and your faith felt thin. Yet despite all of this, you kept moving forward. You kept listening. You kept praying. You kept believing, sometimes with trembling hands, sometimes with a weary heart, but believing still. And my beloved child, that belief has not been in vain. Breakthrough rarely announces itself before it arrives. It does not always come with signs and signals that make sense. Sometimes it forms quietly beneath the surface of your daily life, until suddenly everything begins to shift at once. But before the visible change, there is always a spiritual stirring, a subtle pull, a deeper awareness, a sense that something is coming even if nothing looks different yet. That stirring you feel now is not your imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is recognition. Your spirit is sensing what I am building around you. But I need you to stay with me. Do not turn away now. Do not let distraction steal the clarity I am laying before you. You are closer to breakthrough than you have ever been, and the next moments of this message carry keys you cannot afford to miss. Stay until the very last word. Stay because revelation unfolds layer by layer. Stay because you are walking through a divine appointment meant specifically for your heart. There is a shift happening across the landscape of your life. Threads of your past, your hardships, your perseverance, your prayers, your healing, are weaving into something meaningful. What once felt like scattered pieces are forming into a clear path. There are connections forming, opportunities aligning, blessings positioning themselves. You have felt the pressure of transition, the stretching of your spirit, the discomfort that comes before transformation. These feelings are not signs of collapse, they are signs of creation. Breakthrough is not only about receiving something, it is about becoming someone. And you have been becoming. Every challenge stretched you. Every disappointment deepened you. Every closed door redirected you. Every prayer refined you. You have grown into the very person capable of carrying what I am preparing to release into your life. Stay with me now, for you must hear this. The timing of your breakthrough is not random. It is not delayed. It is not behind schedule. It is arriving now because your spirit, your maturity, your readiness, and your purpose have aligned. Had this breakthrough arrived earlier, it would not have taken root. Had it arrived later, you would have felt forgotten. But in this moment, this exact one, you are positioned perfectly. Your breakthrough may not appear all at once. It may begin in subtle ways, a conversation, an opportunity, a sudden insight, a divine connection, a moment of courage, or it may arrive in a dramatic shift that changes everything at once. But however it comes, know this: it is already forming, and nothing can stop what has been ordained for you. My beloved child, if these words are stirring hope within you, if you feel the weight of my presence or the opening of something within your spirit, then bless this message with a like so it may reach more hearts waiting for the same breakthrough. Share it with those who feel worn by their journey, and connect yourself by subscribing so you will not miss the continued guidance I am pouring out. What is coming is too important, too precious, too transformative for you to walk through alone. Now listen deeply. You are stepping into a season where what was difficult will become doable, where what was confusing will become clear, where what was stagnant will begin to move. You will soon look back on this moment and say, that was the turning point. That was when everything began to shift. Stay with me, beloved. Do not look away. For in the next revelation, I will show you how I am lifting the weight you have carried, and why you no longer have to walk burdened by what once felt impossible to bear. The breakthrough forming now will require space in your spirit, and I am preparing you for it even as you listen. My beloved child, come into this moment with honesty and openness, for I see the weight you have been carrying, weights no one else fully understands, burdens you have quietly learned to hold because life required strength even when you felt fragile. You have walked through days where you felt stretched thin, where responsibilities, emotions, memories, and fears layered themselves upon your shoulders until you could barely breathe under the pressure. And though you tried to convince yourself that you were managing, that you were fine, I saw the truth. I saw the heaviness pressing upon your spirit. Today I am asking you to let me lift that weight. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were never designed to hold every hurt, every fear, every expectation, every disappointment within your own strength. Yet you took it all on because you felt you had no other choice. You carried others when no one carried you. You held together pieces of your life while your own heart was cracking. You stayed strong for people who never knew how close you were to breaking. But my child, Your strength was never meant to replace my presence. Your resilience was never meant to become your burden. Those weights that you have grown used to, those silent emotional loads that settled gradually until they felt normal, are not part of your identity. You have simply carried them so long that you forgot what it feels like to be free. There are weights of responsibility you should not have had to bear. Times when others placed expectations on you beyond what was fair or reasonable. Times when you felt the pressure to succeed, to fix, to hold everything together. You took on roles that drained your spirit because your heart is compassionate, because you wanted to help, because you saw no other option. But compassion is not meant to crush you. I am lifting the weight. There are weights of emotional wounds still sitting in your chest. Old pains, unspoken hurts, memories that rise without warning. You learned to push them down, to function despite them, to hide them behind a steady face. But beloved, these wounds were never meant to be carried alone. Healing was always meant to flow from my presence, not from your own effort. I am lifting the weight of those wounds now. There are weights of fear, fear of what comes next, fear of repeating the past, fear of disappointment, fear of not being enough. These fears have followed you like shadows, subtly influencing your decisions, shaping your choices, shrinking your courage. You stopped dreaming boldly because fear made you cautious. You stopped reaching for more because fear whispered that you might fail again. But where fear has held you, I am bringing freedom. I am lifting that weight. There are weights of guilt and regret, the kind you never voice, the kind you try to forget but cannot. You blame yourself for things you had no control over. You punish yourself for mistakes that help you grow. You carry responsibility for events that were never yours to carry. My child, guilt is not your teacher, and regret is not your master. Let me lift these burdens from your heart and replace them with peace. Even now, as you hear my words, you may feel something loosening within you, like a grip relaxing, like a deep breath rising inside your chest, like tears forming not from sadness but from release. This is the beginning of the weight lifting. This is the moment where heaviness meets my healing. I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to surrender the load. Let me carry what was never meant to rest on your shoulders. Let me take the burdens that exhaust you. Let me soothe the wounds that make you feel small. Let me quiet the fears that limit your spirit. I am your refuge. I am your strength. I am your rest. And when you allow me to lift the weight, you will finally feel what it means to live unburdened, unbroken, and unhindered. My beloved child, you do not need to earn this relief. You only need to allow it. Trust that I am capable of carrying what overwhelms you. Trust that I am willing to hold the things you cannot handle alone. Trust that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Stay with me, for in the next sacred revelation, I will show you how the road that once seemed impossible is opening before you, and how the lifting of your burden is only the first step toward the path that is being cleared for your life. My beloved child, come with me now into this moment of revelation, for you are standing at the edge of a path that once felt unreachable, blocked, or forever closed to you. You have looked ahead many times and seen only obstacles. You saw mountains too tall, valleys too deep, doors sealed shut, and opportunities that seemed to belong to others but never to you. There were seasons when the road before you felt impossible. No direction, no clarity, no movement, no sign of hope. But hear me now, that road is opening. Not slowly, not someday, not eventually. It is opening now. You may not fully see it yet, but you can feel the shift. That quiet stirring in your spirit, that faint flicker of anticipation, that subtle sense that something is changing, that is my hand clearing the way. What once stood in your path is losing its power. What once blocked your progress is being removed piece by piece. What once intimidated you will now make room for you. This is not imagination. This is transformation. For a long time, you questioned why the way forward seemed so complicated. You felt stuck in cycles you could not break, stuck in patterns that held you captive, stuck in seasons that refused to shift. You told yourself that maybe the vision you carried was too big, maybe the calling you sensed was unrealistic, maybe the dreams you held were meant for someone else. You shrank your expectations so the disappointment would hurt less, but shrinking your dreams never shrank your purpose. I want you to understand something sacred. An impossible road does not mean it was never meant for you. It means it was waiting for the right moment to open. And that moment is now. I have been preparing this path in ways you could not see. I have been softening the ground beneath your feet. I have been breaking down barriers that stood too firm for human hands to move. I have been aligning circumstances, shifting atmospheres, and guiding you through inner growth so that when the road opened, you would be ready, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and even physically, to walk through it without hesitation. Every delay, every detour, every closed door was bringing you to this moment. Had the road opened earlier, you would not have been prepared for what awaited on the other side. Had it opened later, your spirit would have grown weary beyond recovery. But in this moment, this precise, intentional, divinely timed moment, the road is clearing because you are ready to step forward. Here will be signs. Doors that once resisted will open with ease. Ideas that once felt cloudy will become clear. Resources you lacked will begin to appear. People who are meant to walk with you will arrive, sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes quietly, but perfectly timed. You will sense movement where there was stillness. You will feel momentum where there was stagnation. You will see options where there were none. My beloved child, the impossible is not your boundary. It is my canvas. You have stood at the threshold of change before, but fear, doubt, or the heaviness of past wounds kept you from stepping through. But now, your spirit is stronger. Your faith, even if small, is steadier. Your heart is healing in ways that allow courage to breathe again. You are not stepping forward as the person you once were, weighed down by battles and disappointments. You are stepping forward as someone who has endured, learned, grown, and transformed. You not be intimidated by the unfamiliar path ahead. Yes, it may look different from what you expected. Yes, it may lead into territory you have never walked before. But I am not calling you into confusion. I am calling you into promise. The road is opening not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. Not to frighten you, but to free you. Not to test you, but to fulfill what hath been waiting for you. Remember this truth. I do not open paths that lead nowhere. If I am clearing the way, it is because what lies ahead carries purpose, beauty, and blessing. You do not walk this road alone. My presence goes before you. My strength surrounds you. My wisdom directs you. My love steadies every step. Stay with me, beloved child. For in the next revelation, I will show you that the blessing awaiting you on this opening road is not general or vague. It has your name on it. And nothing, not even the impossibilities of the past, can keep it from reaching you. My beloved child, come into this moment with expectancy, for I am about to reveal something deeply personal, something crafted, prepared, and preserved specifically for you. Not for someone stronger, someone braver, someone more accomplished, or someone more deserving. This blessing, the one drawing near, the one forming even now, the one that is beginning to manifest in small and subtle ways. It has your name on it. You have watched others receive breakthroughs while you waited. You have celebrated others while wondering when it would be your turn. You have given, served, loved, supported, encouraged, and poured into others while silently yearning for something to finally pour back into you. At times, you questioned whether blessings simply weren't meant for you, whether life had overlooked you, whether heaven had forgotten your place in the line of favor. But beloved, hear me clearly. What is meant for you cannot be given to another. Your blessing has never been misplaced. It has never been delayed out of neglect. It has never been withheld because you were unworthy. It has never been assigned to someone else by mistake. I am a God of intention, not randomness. I do not bless by accident. I bless by design. And my design for you has been unfolding even when you could not see its shape. There have been times when you felt as though you were standing in the shadows while others were being elevated. You wondered why the opportunities you longed for seemed unreachable. You questioned whether your prayers lacked the power to bring change. You assumed that perhaps your destiny was smaller, quieter, or less significant than the desires of your heart suggested. But those assumptions were born from fatigue, not truth. They were formed in seasons of discouragement, not in the reality of my will for you. The blessing that is coming is personalized, shaped for your experiences, your growth, your wounds, your victories, your purpose. It is not a generic gift. It is not a leftover portion. It is not a partial answer. It is a blessing with your fingerprint woven into it. A blessing that matches the depths of who you are and the heights of who you are becoming. You must understand something sacred. Timing is part of the blessing. If I had released this blessing while you were still healing, it may have overwhelmed you. If I had given it to you while you were still trying to earn your worth, you might have believed you didn't deserve it. If I had placed it into your hands before your wisdom matured, you might have mishandled it. If it had arrived during your season of doubt, you may not have recognized it as yours. But now you are ready. Not perfect, not flawless, not unscarred, but ready. Ready in spirit, ready in understanding, ready in strength, ready in identity, ready to receive without fear, ready to step into what was always meant to be yours. The storms you survived did not disqualify you. They prepared you. The delays did not diminish your blessing. They deepened it. The battles did not break you. They built capacity within you. My beloved child, the blessing approaching you carries restoration. It carries joy that does not fade. It carries opportunities that align perfectly with your purpose. It carries relationships that honor your heart. It carries provision that meets your needs and stretches beyond them. It carries healing that touches places you thought would ache forever. It carries clarity that replaces confusion. It carries peace that settles the turbulence within you. And it carries your name, written not in ink that can fade, but in intention that cannot be changed. Do not doubt its arrival because it has taken time. Do not compare your blessing to the blessing of others. Do not measure your journey by someone else's season. Every blessing has an appointed time, and this is yours. Your blessing will not miss you. It will not bypass you. It will not arrive in someone else's hands. What I release for you will reach you. Stay with me, beloved child. For in the next revelation, I will show you that this blessing is not an ending. It is a doorway into a new season, a season meant specifically for you. You are walking into something fresh, something divine, something beautifully aligned. And I will guide you through every step of it. My beloved child, step gently into this moment with me. for I am unveiling something your spirit has sensed for a long time but could not fully name. You are walking into a new season. Not a small change and not a temporary shift, not a momentary uplift, but a true, deep, undeniable new season of your life. One that feels different, moves differently, and requires a version of you that is awakening even now. For so long, you lived in survival mode. You learned how to endure, how to adapt, how to carry burdens, how to keep moving even when everything inside you felt still. You walked through seasons where each day felt like a repeat of the last. You lived in cycles that tired your soul. You questioned whether anything would ever truly change. But beloved, this new season does not ask you to survive. It invites you to live. There is a shift in the atmosphere around you, even if you cannot fully detect it yet. You may feel it as a lightness in your chest, a quiet hope rising without explanation, a sense that something in your inner world is being renewed. That is because the season you are entering carries a different weight, a different rhythm, a different purpose. What once felt heavy will begin to feel manageable. What once felt impossible will begin to open. What once felt distant will begin to draw near. This new season is not built upon the pain of your past. It is built upon the strength you developed while healing from it. The foundation beneath you is stronger now. Your heart is wiser. Your soul is deeper. Your clarity is sharper. Do not judge your future through the lens of former seasons, for what is ahead of you is not a repetition. It is a resurrection. There will be signs of this new season. You will feel doors closing that once felt familiar, not because you failed, but because you outgrew them. Relationships may shift, not as punishment, but as alignment. Habits that once comforted you will no longer satisfy you because your spirit is craving more. Ideas that once intimidated you will suddenly feel attainable. Opportunities will come not as strain, but as confirmation. Do not fear these signs. They are not symptoms of loss. They are signals of transition. Think of a tree that has endured winter. The branches look barren. The ground appears lifeless. Nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the surface, life stirs, roots deepen, and preparation is taking place. And then one day, without warning, new growth appears, small at first, then stronger, then abundantly clear. The tree did not decide overnight to bloom. It was preparing all along. So it is with you. Your winter has passed. Your internal world has been shifting quietly, steadily, intentionally. They have been healing you, pruning you, strengthening you, learning you. And now the season has changed. What is budding in your life will soon bloom in ways that will surprise even you. But hear this gently. Entering a new season requires leaving behind the mindset of the old one. You cannot carry old fears into new beginnings. You cannot cling to past identities while stepping into renewed purpose. You cannot measure new opportunities using old insecurities. The season in front of you requires openness, open hands, open heart, open spirit. You are stepping into a season of clarity, a season of progress, a season of restored hope, a season of deeper connection with me, a season where you will feel guided, supported, and seen in ways you have longed for, a season where your tears will not be wasted but transform into wisdom, strength, and joy. My beloved child, you may feel the temptation to question whether you are ready, but you must hear me clearly. Readiness is not perfection. Readiness is willingness. You are willing, and that is enough. Do not shrink from what is unfolding. Do not second-guess the timing. Do not sabotage what I am placing in front of you out of fear of disappointment. This is your season, crafted for you, lined for you, timed for you. Walk forward with me. Step where I guide you. Trust that this new season is filled with purpose only you can fulfill. Stay with me, precious one. For in the next revelation, I will show you that what I begin in your life, I complete, and the work unfolding now will be brought to fullness in ways more beautiful than you imagine. My beloved child, come into this moment with trust, for I am about to speak a truth that will steady your heart and anchor your spirit. What I start in your life, I finish completely. I do not begin a work in you only to abandon it halfway. I do not ignite hope within you only to let it fade. I do not plant purpose inside you only to leave it unfinished. Every good thing I have initiated in your life will be brought to fullness, not in fragments, not in pieces, but in beautiful, complete completion. I know there were times when you felt as though you were left halfway through your healing, halfway through your growth, halfway through your breakthrough. You sensed progress, yet it stalled. You felt change, yet it paused. You stepped forward, only to feel pulled backward again. And in these moments, doubt whispered that maybe your story would remain unfinished, that maybe you would never reach the wholeness your heart longed for. But beloved, hear me. I do not leave my work unfinished. There is no promise I have spoken over you that will be left incomplete. There is no transformation I have begun within you that will stop before its fullness. There is no purpose I placed in you that will remain dormant. The delays you experienced were never indicators of abandonment. They were parts of the process. They were chapters preparing you for the fullness of what is coming. Think back on your life and remember the moments when you thought you would never recover from the pain you carried. Yet here you are, with a heart stronger and deeper than before. Think of the challenges that you believed would break you, yet they became stepping stones that shape your character. Think of the seasons that felt endless, yet eventually gave birth to clarity and growth. Each of these moments reveals something important. I have been completing my work in you all along, even when you did not recognize it. Completion does not always look like immediate resolution. Sometimes it looks like slow healing, gradual unfolding, steady progress. Sometimes it looks like inner transformation before outer change. Sometimes it looks like releasing old identities before embracing new ones. But whether the change comes suddenly or slowly, it comes, and it comes fully. You may have felt frustrated with how long certain seasons lasted. You may have wondered why certain prayers took years to be answered. You may have questioned whether your dreams were fading away with time. But beloved, my timing is not meant to disappoint you. It is meant to prepare you. I never delay completion without purpose. Every pause, every redirection, every quiet season was shaping the maturity required to receive what I am finishing in your life. Do not fear that anything will remain undone. If I began healing your heart, I will complete it. If I began restoring your confidence, I will finish the work. If I began opening doors for you, they will lead to fulfillment. If I began awakening purpose within you, it will bear fruit. If I started freeing you from the chains of your past, you will walk in complete liberation. My work is not partial. It is perfected in its time. And my child, let me speak to the fear that lingers within you, the fear that whispers, what if I mess everything up? What if I make the wrong choice? What if I fail again? Hear me with clarity. My completion does not depend on your perfection. You cannot ruin what I have ordained. You cannot derail what I have destined. You cannot break what I have blessed. Your mistakes are not powerful enough to undo my purpose. What I start, I finish completely. Even now, threads of your life are being woven into a tapestry you cannot yet see. Prayers you prayed long ago are still unfolding. Doors that closed are making way for better ones. Strength you developed in the dark is becoming the foundation for what I am building. You are walking toward a future that has already been prepared, shaped, and blessed. Stay with me, beloved child. You are closer to completion than you realize. Walk forward with confidence, not because you know every step, but because you know the one who is faithful to finish what he began. And remain near, for in the next revelation, I will show you that your future will not look like your past, and the fullness I am bringing will surpass every sorrow you have ever known. I, beloved child, come into this moment with hope rising in your spirit, for I am about to speak a truth that will loosen the last remnants of doubt clinging to your heart. Your future will not look like your past. The pain you endured, the disappointments you lived through, the wounds you carried, the cycles you repeated, none of these are indicators of what lies ahead. The past shaped you, yes, but it does not define you. It prepared you, but it does not limit you. You are stepping into a future that is not a reflection of where you have been, but a revelation of who you are becoming. You have spent years believing that your history set the boundaries for your destiny. You thought that because certain things repeated, they would always repeat. You thought that because certain relationships broke you, new ones would as well. You thought that because doors remained closed in one season, they would remain closed forever. You assumed that the sadness that visited your heart would be a lifelong companion, that the disappointments would eventually numb your hope, that the failures would stain your confidence beyond repair. But beloved, I tell you now with unwavering certainty, those days are behind you. You are not walking into another version of the same story. The chapter you are entering is not written in the ink of your past pain. The pages ahead of you carry newness, new opportunities, new connections, new joys, new purpose, new strength, new peace. Your past may have tried to convince you that the best parts of your life were behind you, but the truth is the best is unfolding ahead of you. What felt broken beyond restoration is becoming the foundation for blessing. What felt heavy beyond endurance is becoming the testimony of your resilience. What felt lost is being returned in greater measure. I know you revisited old wounds because you feared they would follow you into the future. But healing is taking place, not shallow healing, not temporary relief, but deep, lasting transformation. You are being freed from patterns you did not know how to break. You are being released from the emotional ties that once defined your decisions. You are stepping out of memories that held your spirit in a loop of fear and hesitation. Your future is not connected to the person you were when those wounds were formed. It is connected to the person you are becoming through healing. Let me show you something sacred. The very areas where you struggled the most are the areas where you will rise the highest. What once weakened you is becoming your strength. What once hurt you is becoming your wisdom. What once silenced you is becoming your voice. The things that were meant to break you have built depth within you. Your past did not reduce your value. It refined your purpose. You must release the expectation that things will go wrong simply because they have gone wrong before. That is the voice of fear, not the truth of your future. You must stop assuming that you will be abandoned simply because someone once left. That is the voice of old wounds, not the promise I have spoken over you. You must stop believing that you will fail simply because your past included failure. Those failures were lessons, not prophecies. The future I am leading you into is filled with restoration, restoration of hope, of joy, of confidence, of identity. You will experience peace in places where you once felt turmoil. You will experience clarity in situations that once confused you. You will experience love that honors you instead of draining you. You will experience opportunities that match the depth of who you are now, not who you were in your hardest season. And hear me with tenderness. You will not repeat what you escaped from. You will not return to what broke you. You will not recreate what harmed your spirit. Cycles end when healing begins, and healing is flowing through your life even now. You may not see all the changes yet, but internal shifts always precede external transformation. Your heart is preparing for newness. Your spirit is rising into expectancy. Your mind is letting go of old survival patterns. Every part of you is aligning with the future I have prepared. Stay close to me, beloved child, for in the next revelation, I will draw you even deeper into the unfolding of this new chapter, a moment so important that I must urge you not to turn away. You are approaching a divine unveiling, and the next step is too powerful to miss. My beloved child, listen to me with every part of your heart, for you are standing on the edge of an unveiling unlike anything you have experienced before. What is about to unfold in your life carries the weight of destiny, the beauty of healing, and the clarity you have prayed for through tears you thought were in vain. You are seconds from revelation, seconds from understanding, seconds from breakthrough, seconds from seeing what I have been shaping for you behind the scenes. Do not turn away now. Do not let your mind wander. Do not allow distraction to pull you out of this moment. You are closer than you have ever been, and what I am about to reveal will bring light to places that have long felt hidden in shadows. There have been moments, quiet moments, lonely moments, confusing moments, when you wondered if all your waiting was pointless. You questioned whether your hope was naive, whether your faith was misaligned, whether your prayers were falling upon empty space. You asked why nothing seemed to shift despite the effort you poured into healing, into growing, into believing. And yet, my beloved, the movement was happening all along. You simply could not see it yet. Revelation often comes suddenly. It arrives like dawn, slow, quiet, almost unnoticeable until suddenly light floods everything around you. And you realize the darkness was not permanent. You realize clarity was not gone forever. You realize hope was not lost. You realize your path was never abandoned. Your moment is approaching. But you must stay. Stay with me through these next words. Stay because what comes next requires your spirit to be fully present. Stay because this revelation has the power to change the way you see your past, your present, and the future I am leading you into. Stay because you are being positioned for something you have long felt but never fully understood. My child, feel the truth of this. You are not at the end of your strength. You are at the beginning of your breakthrough. The pressure you feel is not a sign of collapse, but a sign of birth. The tension in your heart is not because you are failing. It is because you are transitioning. Something inside you knows you are on the verge of something meaningful, something sacred, something long awaited. That knowing is not your imagination. It is the whisper of revelation drawing near. There are answers forming right now, answers to questions that have haunted you for years, answers to why certain people left, answers to why certain doors closed, answers to why some seasons felt unbearably long, answers to why you were redirected, answers to what I was building in you during the silence. These answers are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to free you. My beloved, if you feel something stirring, if your chest feels warm, if your spirit feels alert, if your eyes feel drawn to what comes next, that is your heart recognizing divine timing. Revelation comes not when you are perfect, not when you are unbroken, not when you are without fear. It comes when your spirit is open, and your spirit is open now. Before you step into this next unveiling, I ask gently, if this message has stirred hope in you, if it has given clarity or peace to even one corner of your heart, bless this message with a like so it may reach those who are desperate for the same revelation. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that their moment is near, and remain connected by subscribing, so the guidance I continue to give can meet you exactly when you need it. Do not turn away. Not now. Not in this moment. You have traveled too far, endured too much, grown too deeply to step away before the revelation arrives. You are seconds from understanding what your past could never explain. Seconds from the wave of peace that will settle your spirit. Seconds from the clarity that will align your steps. Seconds from the breakthrough that has been forming in the unseen. Stay with me, beloved child. In what comes next, I will begin rewriting the story of your life, and the first words of that new chapter are about to be spoken. My beloved child, come into this moment with a heart ready to receive, for I am beginning something new, something sacred, something powerful, something that reaches into the deepest layers of your being. I am rewriting the story of your life. Not editing the old chapters, not merely smoothing over the painful lines, not erasing what shaped you, but transforming the meaning of your journey so that every page, past, present, and future, reflects redemption, purpose, and divine intention. You have lived through chapters that felt unfair, chapters you never asked to experience, chapters that left marks on your heart and shadows in your memory. There were moments you wished you could rewrite yourself, moments you wished you could go back in time and choose differently, moments when you feared that your past had permanently limited your future. But beloved, hear me, your story is not defined by its darkest pages. Your story is defined by the author who is still writing. I saw the chapters where you felt broken, and I did not leave you there. I saw the chapters where you lost yourself, and I did not give up on you. I saw the chapters where you felt forgotten, and I whispered hope into your spirit. I saw the chapters where everything fell apart, and I began preparing the moment where everything would come together again. What you thought was the end was merely the middle. What you thought was failure was foundation. What you thought was trauma was territory for transformation. You have carried versions of yourself that were shaped by pain, versions that learned to survive, to hide, to minimize, to doubt, to settle for less than what your heart truly desired. But those versions were temporary, necessary for the journey, perhaps, but not the person I designed you to become. And now, I am writing you into a new identity, one that is whole, confident, courageous, loved, seen, and perfectly aligned with the destiny created for you long before your first breath. Let me show you how I rewrite stories. I take abandonment and rewrite it as strength, showing you that you survived what others could not. I take heartbreak and rewrite it as wisdom, giving you eyes that see what your heart once missed. I take loss and rewrite it as clarity, helping you understand what truly matters and what never did. I take mistakes and rewrite them as growth, shaping you into someone wiser, deeper, kinder. I take your silence and rewrite it as awakening, restoring your voice with purpose and power. Nothing in your story is wasted. Nothing disqualifies you. Nothing you endured has the final word. Only I do. And when I rewrite a story, I do not mend it with fragile thread. I remake it with purpose so strong that even the broken pieces become part of the beauty. My child, the story you are stepping into will not resemble the chapters behind you. You are not walking into repeated cycles. You are not stepping into familiar disappointment. You are not destined to relive the pain you escaped. Those patterns have ended. Those narratives have closed. The pen hath been lifted, and a new chapter is beginning, one written with intention, not reaction. In this new chapter, you will understand why certain people could not remain in your life. You will understand why you outgrew certain environments. You will understand why doors closed that you thought were meant for you. You will understand why the waiting lasted as long as it did. The clarity you are stepping into will heal confusion you carried for years. Beloved, to receive the fullness of this written story, you must let go of the belief that your past determines your worth. You must release the narrative that says, "Who I was is all I will ever be." That is a lie born from wounded seasons. Your story is not static. It is alive, evolving, unfolding under my hand. I am not finished writing, and what comes next carries more beauty than you have yet imagined. You will see blessings that restore what you lost. You will feel joy in places that once felt numb. You will step into opportunities that honor your growth. You will meet people who see you clearly and treat you with the love you always deserve. You will understand your purpose with a clarity you once thought impossible. And you will look back on the old chapters, not with shame, not with regret, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the strength they cultivated, the wisdom they produced, and the transformation they sparked. Stay with me, beloved child, for in the next revelation, I will place something within your spirit, a gift, a divine impartation that will carry you forward into the life I designed for you. The story is changing, and so are you. My beloved child, draw near to me now, for in this sacred moment I am placing something within your spirit, something you may not fully understand yet, but something that will guide you, strengthen you, and transform the way you move through the days ahead. This gift is not material, it is spiritual. It is not temporary, it is eternal. It is not fragile, it is powerful. And it is being placed within you today. You have lived through seasons where you felt empty, where discouragement drained your hope, where confusion clouded your mind, where exhaustion weighed on your soul. In those moments, you often prayed for external change, for circumstances to shift, for doors to open, for relief to come from outside you. But beloved, the greatest shifts begin within. What I am placing in your spirit today is the seed of everything you will walk into tomorrow. This gift is clarity. This gift is discernment. This gift is courage. This gift is peace. This gift is vision. This gift is renewal. A divine impartation, crafted specifically for you. Let me explain what this means, for I do not want you to miss its importance. First, I am placing within you the gift of clarity. For too long you have lived in the tension of uncertainty, unsure of what to do, unsure of which direction to go, unsure of what voices to trust. But clarity is rising within you. You will find yourself knowing, instinctively, the right path to take. Not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of peace. The confusion that once clouded your decisions will begin to lift, and you will move forward with a confidence that surprises even you. Second, I am placing within you the gift of discernment. There will come moments when things look good but are not meant for you, and moments when things look unlikely but carry my purpose. Discernment will protect you. It will guide you away from counterfeits and toward what is truly aligned with your destiny. You will begin to see beyond appearances, hearing my voice in ways that steady your heart and illuminate your path. Third, the gift of courage is rising in you. Not the loud, fearless courage that demands attention, but the steady, quiet courage that empowers you to take steps you once avoided. Courage to say yes to what is meant for you. Courage to say no to what drains you. Courage to leave behind what no longer aligns. Courage to rise into the person you were always meant to become. You will feel this courage growing like fire in your chest, gentle yet undeniable. Fourth, I am placing in your spirit the gift of peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the deep, anchored peace that holds you even in uncertainty. Peace that steadies your breath. Peace that silences the noise around you. Peace that keeps your heart calm even when life moves quickly. Peace that reminds you I am near. This peace will become your foundation, your resting place, your assurance that you are never walking alone. Fifth, I am placing within you the gift of vision. You will begin to see your life not as a string of disconnected moments, but as a tapestry woven with purpose. You will regain the ability to dream without fear. You will see possibilities where you once saw only limitations. You will see yourself through my eyes, with love, with potential, with intention. Your vision will expand, and with it, your capacity to step into new levels of purpose. And finally, I am placing within you the gift of renewal. You have grown tired, beloved, more tired than you have ever admitted. You have carried emotional exhaustion, spiritual fatigue, mental weariness. But renewal is rising within you. Strength you thought you lost is returning. Joy you thought was gone is reawakening. Light you thought was dimming is glowing again. You will feel it gradually at first, then boldly, as if your spirit is being revived from the inside out. This impartation is not symbolic. It is real. It is active. It is already beginning to work within you, reshaping your thoughts, softening your heart, lifting your spirit, and aligning you with the new season you are stepping into. You may feel a warmth in your chest. You may feel a sense of calm settling over you. You may feel tears forming, not from sorrow, but from release. You may feel nothing yet, but the work is happening nonetheless. This gift is for you, tailored to your journey, time for your season, rooted in my love. Stay close to me, beloved child. For in the next revelation, I will take you by the hand and invite you to walk with me into the life I designed specifically for you, one step, one breath, one moment of faith at a time. My beloved child, come with me now, not in fear, not in hesitation, but in trust, for I am inviting you to walk with me into the life I designed specifically for you. A life that was not shaped by your wounds, not limited by your past, not defined by your failures, but crafted from the fullness of who you are and who you are becoming. This is not a life you must earn. It is a life you step into as you walk beside me, allowing me to guide each step, each breath, each new beginning. You have spent so much of your life trying to figure everything out on your own. You have carried the weight of decision-making as though every wrong turn would destroy your destiny. You have felt responsible for every outcome, every direction, every choice, even in moments when you were too overwhelmed to think clearly. But today, I release you from that burden. You were never meant to walk this path alone. The life I designed for you is not meant to be navigated by your strength, but by my guidance. Take my hand, beloved. Feel the steadiness of my presence. Feel the assurance that you are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into alignment. The life I designed for you is a life where your heart is not ruled by fear. Fear has taken enough from you. Fear has stopped you at the threshold of opportunity. Fear has silenced your voice, shrunk your dreams, clouded your vision, and convinced you to settle for less. But fear loses its power when you walk with me. I am not calling you into a life where you must constantly brace for disappointment. I am calling you into a life where your confidence is rooted in me, not in circumstances. This life I designed is one where doors open that you once thought were sealed forever. Not because you forced them, but because they were always meant for you. A life where you find the right people, people who honor your heart, support your growth, see your worth, and walk beside you with integrity. People who do not diminish your light but celebrate it. People who do not drain your spirit but strengthen it. It is a life where healing is not a distant wish, but a daily reality. Where the wounds of your past no longer interfere with the joy of your future. where the burden of old memories no longer dictates your choices, where you wake with peace rather than anxiety, and where your nights are filled with rest instead of restlessness. Walk with me, and you will see that purpose is not something you chase. It is something you grow into. Purpose is not a single moment or achievement. It is the natural unfolding of your spirit as you move through life with intention, love, and courage. The purpose I placed within you is alive. It has been stirring even in seasons when you felt directionless. And as you walk with me, it will become clearer, stronger, and more undeniable. The life I designed for you is filled with opportunities that match the depth of who you are. Opportunities that align with your gifts, your passions, your wisdom, your compassion. You will not have to force your way into rooms where you do not belong. You will be invited into spaces where your presence is valued, where your experiences matter, where your voice is heard. And hear me with tenderness. The life I designed for you is not a life without challenges, but you will not face them as you once did. You will meet them with strength instead of fear, with clarity instead of confusion, with peace instead of panic. Challenges will not break you, they will build you. They will not diminish you, they will deepen you. They will not derail your purpose, they will refine it. When you walk with me, your steps may not always make sense at first. There will be turns you did not expect, pauses you did not plan, and leaps you did not think you were ready for. But every step will be intentional. Every direction will be purposeful. Every moment will be guided. You do not need to know every detail of what's ahead. You only need to trust that I do. You only need to walk beside me, one step at a time, believing that I will not lead you into confusion or chaos, but into fullness, growth, and blessing. My beloved child, take this step with me, not anxiously, not doubtfully, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are guided by a love that never fails. The life I designed for you is not a distant dream. It is unfolding even now. And in the next revelation, I will show you that nothing, not fear, not the past, not opposition, will be able to stop what I have ordained for your life. My beloved child, step into this moment with assurance rising in your spirit, for I am about to anchor you in a truth that will quiet every fear, silence every doubt, and steady every place within you that has felt uncertain. Nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to stop what I have ordained for your life. What I have purposed, no force can hinder. What I have spoken, no circumstance can erase. What I have prepared, no opposition can block. You have spent years fearing that your destiny was fragile. You feared that one wrong decision, one unexpected setback, one moment of weakness, one heartbreak, one closed door could ruin everything. You feared that people had the power to derail you, that missed opportunities had the ability to diminish your calling, that your own imperfections could disqualify you. But beloved, hear me now. My plans are not fragile. My purposes are not easily disrupted. And your destiny is not dependent on perfection. It is dependent on my sovereignty. There have been moments when you felt resistance, moments when it seemed like everything was working against you, moments when progress felt impossible. You wondered if perhaps those barriers were signs that you were on the wrong path. But the truth is this: sometimes resistance is not a sign of being off course, but confirmation that you are approaching something sacred. Shadows lengthen just before breakthrough. Pressure intensifies just before release. The path becomes narrow just before it opens. Nothing that rises against you has the authority to override my intention. Not the fear that whispers lies. Not the doubt that clouds your vision. Not the voices that underestimated you. not the circumstances that disappointed you, not the wounds that tried to weaken you, not even the mistakes you made during seasons when you were hurting and trying to survive. I have woven every thread of your journey, yes, even the painful ones, into a tapestry that leads you right where you are meant to be. What I ordain does not depend on favorable conditions. I can open doors in deserts. I can create streams in wastelands. I can breathe life into dry places. I can build bridges where there were only gaps. I can lift you from places where others counted you out. I can restore what was taken. I can revive what was lost. I can repair what was broken. My child, my power does not require ideal circumstances, only your willingness to trust me as you move forward. There were seasons when you questioned why certain things didn't work out. You assumed it was because you lacked something: strength, wordiness, skill, timing. But what you saw as failure was often protection. What you interpreted as rejection was redirection. What you believed was an ending was simply transformation. I do not allow anything to be taken from your life unless it clears the way for what is meant to enter. You have feared the influence of others, their opinions, their judgments, their choices. But remember this: no one has the authority to hold what belongs to you. No one can keep the blessing with your name on it. No one can occupy the place I prepared for you. No one can shut a door I have opened, and no one can open a door I have closed. The opinions of others do not shape your destiny. I do. You have also feared time. You worried that you were too late, too far behind, too worn out to receive what you once dreamed of. But timing is not your enemy, beloved. Timing is my tool. I ordain seasons. I orchestrate alignments. I prepare the right people at the right moment, and I bring everything together in ways your mind could never predict. You are not late. You are aligned. And now, as you step further into the life I designed for you, you must know this: momentum is building. Doors are preparing to open. Opportunities are gathering. Healing is deepening. Strength is rising. You are being shaped into someone who can carry the fullness of what is coming. And nothing, not fear, not the past, not delay, not doubt, can stop what I have set into motion. My beloved child, rest in this truth: my plans are unstoppable because my love for you is unshakable. What I have ordained was written long before your struggles began, long before your wounds were formed, long before you questioned your worth. And nothing has the power to overturn what I intended for your life. Stay close to me, for in the next revelation, you will step into a moment of receiving, a moment where your spirit will open to what has been waiting for you all this time. You are approaching fullness. You are approaching promise. And you are closer than you realize. My beloved child, come into this moment with gentleness, for I am inviting you to do something you have not always found easy. Open your heart. Not partially, not cautiously, not with fear whispering in the background, but fully. Open your heart and receive what is already yours. The blessings, the healing, the peace, the opportunities, the clarity, the love that I have prepared for you are not distant promises. They are present realities waiting for your spirit to receive them. You have spent much of your life learning how to protect your heart. You built walls not because you wanted to, but because you needed them to survive seasons of hurt. You learned to expect disappointment so you could brace yourself. You learned to lower your hopes so the fall would not feel so painful. You learned to keep parts of yourself hidden because showing them felt too risky. And though these defenses protected you in moments of vulnerability, they also kept you from receiving the fullness I've been pouring toward you. But beloved, this is a new season. And in this season, your heart no longer needs to live behind barriers. What you are stepping into requires openness, not as a weakness, but as a sacred strength. I have blessings that cannot enter a closed heart. I have direction that cannot settle in a guarded mind. I have healing that cannot seep into protected wounds. I have love that cannot fill a heart afraid to trust. So today, I ask you to gently let your guard down. Not all at once. Not in ways that overwhelm you. But in small, steady steps, enough to allow my presence to move freely within you. Open your heart to the truth that you are worthy of good things. For too long, you believed blessings were for others, those more spiritual, more successful, more deserving. But I never measured worth the way you do. Your worth has always been inherent, unchanging, untouched by your past. Open your heart and receive the truth that goodness is not only possible for you, it is promised to you. Open your heart to the healing that is flowing even now. You do not need to understand it for it to take root. Healing is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is a quiet loosening of old pain. Sometimes it is a softening of your inner world. Sometimes it is the ability to breathe deeply again. Allow me to touch the places you have kept hidden. Allow me to restore what you thought was permanently damaged. Healing is already yours, simply receive it. Open your heart to the opportunities rising before you. You may feel nervous to take steps into the unfamiliar, but what I am presenting to you now is aligned with your growth, not your fear. You do not need to force anything. What is yours will find you. What is aligned will flow to you. Your only task is to remain open enough to recognize it and courageous enough to step into it. Open your heart to love again, not just romantic love, but love in all its forms. Love that honors you, love that nurtures you, love that sees you clearly. You were not made to walk this life alone or in emotional isolation. Love will come in ways that feel safe, gentle, and true. Your heart is not too broken to love again. Your heart is not too guarded to receive connection. Love is already watching for the open door in your spirit. And open your heart to peace. Not the peace that depends on life being perfect, but the peace that flows even in uncertainty. Peace that reassures you when you cannot see the whole path. Peace that reminds you that I am with you in every step and every breath. Peace that settles your mind when anxiety rises. Peace that lifts your shoulders when the weight grows heavy. This peace belongs to you. It is not temporary. It is not conditional. It is your inheritance. My beloved child, opening your heart does not mean you will never feel fear again. It does not mean you will never be vulnerable again. It does not mean life will suddenly be without challenge. Opening your heart means you will face these moments with the fullness of my presence within you, rather than from behind walls built by old pain. Everything you have prayed for, hoped for, waited for, cried for, it is closer than you think. Closer than your breath. Closer than your next heartbeat. You are not striving to earn it. You are simply receiving what was always meant for you. Stay with me, precious one. For the final revelation is approaching, a sacred conclusion that will seal this message in your spirit and prepare you to step forward with confidence, restoration, and divine purpose. My beloved child, come into this final moment with me not as someone reaching the end of a message, but as someone standing at the beginning of a transformed life. Everything you have heard, everything you have felt rising within you, everything that has awakened in your spirit throughout this journey, now gathers here, in this single sacred breath. This is your moment. This is where the old season ends and the new one begins. This is where you step forward, fully, freely, courageously, into the life I have prepared for you. You have walked through long valleys of pain, and yet here you stand, still open, still listening, still hoping. You have carried burdens that no one else recognized, and yet here you are, lighter, stronger, more aware of your worth. You have survived storms that tried to drown your spirit, and yet here you remain, standing in the radiance of healing, clothed in resilience, lifted by grace you did not have to earn. Every part of your journey has led to this moment. The whispers you ignored, the tears you cried, the nights you lay awake wondering if things would ever change, the small steps you took even when your legs trembled, the prayers you spoke even when you feared no one heard them. All of it was shaping you, refining you, preparing you for the life you are now stepping into. You are not the same person who began this journey. Something in you has shifted. Something in you has awakened. Something in you that was once weary now feels alive again. Something in you that once felt dim now glows with purpose. You have reclaimed pieces of yourself that were buried beneath years of survival. You have remembered your worth, your strength, your divine identity. You have remembered that you are not alone, not in your past, not now, not ever. And now, my beloved child, I speak this over you with all the authority of a father who loves without condition. Step forward. Step forward into a life no longer shaped by fear. Step forward into days filled with clarity and direction. Step forward into relationships that honor your heart. Step forward into opportunities aligned with your purpose. Step forward into the joy that is returning to you. Step forward into healing that will continue unfolding in your life. Step forward into the blessing with your name on it. Step forward into the future that refuses to look like your past. Step forward knowing nothing can stop what I have ordained. You are free. You are chosen. You are protected. You are guided. You are becoming the fullness of who you were created to be. Do not doubt this moment. Do not diminish its significance. Do not look back with regret or forward with fear. Lift your head, beloved. Lift your heart. Lift your spirit. The way before you is open. The road that once felt impossible now glows with divine purpose. You are walking into a chapter where your spirit is lighter, your mind is clearer, your heart is stronger, and your steps are guided by my unfailing presence. Everything you need, you already hold within you. Everything ahead of you, I have already prepared. Everything you feared, I have already conquered. Everything you lost, I am already restoring. Walk with me into this new beginning, not as someone uncertain, but as someone chosen. Chosen for such a time as this. Chosen for miracles. Chosen for breakthrough. Chosen for a life that reflects my love. My beloved child, this is your moment. Breathe it in. Embrace it fully. Let the weight of your past fall away. Let the fear of your future dissolve. Let the peace of my presence fill every corner of your soul. And as you step forward, know this one truth above all else. I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will never leave your side. And now go, precious one. Walk boldly into the life that has been waiting for you. You are ready. It is time. Amen.